Hi everyone, this is Ellen Vargo from ellenvargodesigns.com. Today's going to be my first video, so I hope you'll be kind to me. I'm just going to kind of wing it and do my best. Today we're going to make this cute little box, and I have to give full credit to craftycarolinecreates.com for coming up with this design. I thought it was really unique. It's got kind of a diagonal close, and it's a box in a box. So if I take the ribbon off and open it up, you can see sort of the diagonal, and when I open it up, it's got a box in a box. It's really cute. So we're gonna make our way through and make this box together. Hope you enjoy it, and let's get started. So we're going to start with our scoring tool and a piece of designer series paper. This is from the Painted with Love series, and we are going to score first on the long side at 1/2 inch, 2.5 inches, 4.5 inches, and 6.5 inches. And then if we turn it 90 degrees, we'll score at 2 inches and 4 inches. Now we need to make some additional little score lines, which will serve as a guide to us for cutting later. So if you get your ruler, it might be kind of hard to see on this side. So let's flip it over. You can see a little better with the foiling. So we are going to score let's make some little tick marks first. So at the 1 inch mark, make a little tick there, and then again at the 5 inch mark. And then we're going to use the grid paper to kind of line that up. And we're going to score just down to this first score line. Then we're going to skip a section and then score again here from this score line down to the next one, and skip that and do this last one. And then we're going to do the same thing on the other end. So if we find our score line, or a little tick mark, which is right there, if I line that up with one of the grid lines and just square things up, use my ruler and score down to this first little skinny bit score line, skip a box, do that section, skip this one, and do the last section. So when we're done, I don't know if you can see, let's see, we've got a tiny little score line here, which might be hard to see. And then we skip this square section, we have another one, skip that one, and we have this, and it's the same on the other side. So now we're going to fold and burnish all of our main score lines, not the little partial ones. So let's go in and do that. I am happy to be back working with Stampin' Up! Products. Stampin' Up! Was my very first introduction to stamping years ago. I had a friend that I worked with who was a Stampin' Up! Demonstrator, and she used to do little workshops after work, and I kind of fell in love with it. And all these years later, I'm back using the products and became a demonstrator myself, and I'm really having a good time. So, you know, I'm looking forward to all the stuff I can show you going forward, and hopefully you'll have fun too. So now we need to do some cutting. So we're going to cut from this section up to the first score line, And then we'll do that all the way across, just straight up. And straight up. And then same on the other side. And last one. And this is where it's going to get a little tricky. We have our little tick mark. I hope I did that right. We'll see. For our little score line here, we're going to fold that just to make it a little easier to see. Then we're going to cut that off. So we're going to cut that and cut here. And then we need to sort of make those diagonal cuts that I mentioned earlier. Actually, I think I made this score line a little bit too far this way. I'm going to trim that down a little bit more. That's about all we need. Otherwise, the diagonal won't look right. So, we're going to now cut from this corner down to that where this little box meets this section here. So just kind of be brave with your scissors and go for it. So from this corner right to there. There you go. And we'll do the same thing on the other side. It's easier this way. And then we're going to skip this section. Is that right? That's not right. Yeah, if those score lines are not in the right place, let's do that again. So I'm going to line this up with that tab. And I'm going to score again. So we're going to do it there, and there, and then on the other side, same thing. I'm going to do it here and here. And actually, we're going to cut those. Cut there. And we're going to cut there. Same. And here. So let's get that out of the way. Now that makes more sense. So now we're going to do the same thing, cutting on the diagonal. I'm going to start in this corner and go down to that section we cut. Same on the other side. So now we are left with a very odd looking shape. Sort of hard to imagine what it's going to look like, but trust me, it turns out really cool. So now we're going to use some fast fuse and put them on the back side of these tabs. Fold those in. And then these tiny little tabs here. And then we're just going to fold these in. We're going to match this edge up with this fold. And press. Same on this side. And then we're going to do the same thing with these. Fold that. This edge up with that fold. And this one. And then these two little tiny tabs here, fold those in. And fold that one in. Whoops. So now we're left with this, whoops, this little shape. So we've got some little bits hanging off here that we're just going to make flush with the diagonal line. So get your paper snips or sharp scissors, detail scissors, and just trim that excess off. A little bit awkward angles, but and that's two more. And one more. There we go. So now our box will close up. This will be the base with the little lip here. So if we fold it on the outside, it closes, and it's got that diagonal flap right here. So I mean, that's a cute box on its own, but we're actually going to build another box to go inside it, which will make it even, give it a little bit more of a wow factor. So let's put this one aside and work on the other one. So we're going to bring back our scoring board. We're going to take a piece of Berry Burst cardstock, and this is cut to just a little bit shy of 6 inches square. It's 5 15/16 on both sides. So, and we're going to score at 2 inches on all 4 sides. So 2 inches, turn, 2 inches and turn, 2 inches and turn, and 2 inches, whoops, skipped there, 2 inches. And then we can put that aside. I'm going to fold and burnish. And when you're scoring and then burnishing, you want to turn your cardstock over and fold away from the score line. That'll give you a nice smooth finish. So we're just going to fold and burnish on all 4 sides. And we're going to do some more cutting. So we're going to cut from this score line up to the first horizontal here and here on both sides. So I'm going to cut straight up and straight up. And then we're going to create sort of a little wedge on these corner triangles, and that'll make the box close up nicely. Won't be any edges showing. So just cut off the corners on each side and then cut that about in half. Just chop it off. And that'll make the box a little bit less bulky. Same thing on this corner. Create our wedge and then just cut about half off. And we're going to do the same thing on the other side. Cut straight up and straight up, and then do our wedge. And cut that about half. So that's all of our cutting. So now we're going to use our fast fuse again, and you want to put the fast fuse very close to this score line. So light touch is better with fast fuse. I find if I press hard, it tends to fight with me and get gummed up. So very light touch, close to that score line. Do that on the other side. It's getting off kilter here. There we go. And then we're just going to tuck these flaps in, again meeting up this edge with this edge. And there's the last one. So and there's our little box. Cute. And what makes it cuter is it's going to fit inside our diagonal box. And it should be a nice, perfect, snug fit. You shouldn't have to use any adhesive to attach it. It should just fit in nicely. Cute. And then we close up around it. And we've got a box in a box. Yay! So to make it a little bit easier to open, we're going to put a little thumb notch in the bottom of the outer box. Just use a little 1/2-inch circle punch. Be careful not to go too far in because you don't want this little lip exposed. So just enough to make it easier to open for the recipient. Let's see how that worked. Get in there. There we go. So little thumb notch. And then on the inner box, we'll make a little bit bigger notch. We use a 1-inch circle punch. Go about halfway down. And that'll make it easier. You can see a little inside better. So this box would be great for any number of things. But since this is a Valentine's themed project, I thought it'd be great to put some chocolates in. So I've got some Dove chocolate hearts here. So we'll fit quite a few. Yeah, I think that's 8 or 9. Close that up. And then you can tie that shut with some ribbon. Use this is the Whisper White Organza ribbon. It's really pretty. It's got a solid satin edge and then a kind of a sheer inner section. So I am not the best by any means at tying bows, so we're just going to do our best. If the bow doesn't work out, we'll do a knot. So I'm definitely bow challenged. So hold that, make a loop, cross your fingers. Ooh. Not bad. Not the best bow in the world, but not terrible. I can bring that down. Not too bad. Just trim off the ends. I've got one going up and one down, but it's okay. And then we'll do a little bit of stamping for a greeting. Now this is a Valentine's week that I'm working through here. And I was looking through my Valentine's stamps and I've used most of them. I wanted to show a different stamp set that has one that will work for Valentine's, and it's the Waterfront Stamp Set, which is an awesome new stamp set in the spring catalog. It's got images that you can use to build a scene that will wind up looking like you've watercolored it yourself, which is awesome. But it's got one stamp in there that says love never gives up, so let's use that one. So I've got that all set up on a block, and I've got some Whisper White cardstock, and we're going to use Berry Burst ink to match the designer paper. So just ink that up. And then we'll use the 1 1/4 inch circle punch to cut that out. Oops, center that out. Just fits. And then we will use some berry burst cardstock to cut a 1 3/8 inch scallop circle punch. This is a new punch also in the spring catalog, and I love the scallop circle punches because it makes it so easy to layer up with a circle and just create a nice dimensional sentiment. So we'll use some dimensionals to pop that up. Just put that on top of the berry burst, and then put another one on the back. And make some room here. Pop that onto the top of our box. I also have some of the new, there's the glitter and clear epoxy shapes, which it comes with a sheet of clear and a sheet that has sort of a glittered finish to it. I'm going to use the glittered finish today because it's Valentine's, so we can be a little sparkly. So just use my paper piercer, and we're going to add some of these clear glitter dots to our sentiment to dress it up a little. One, two, and three. And there we go, our finished project. So I hope you had a good time. I hope my directions made sense. Sorry for that little mistake I made in the middle with the scoring. I think we recovered nicely. If you have any questions, feel free to email me. I will have links to all of the supplies used on my website. And I hope you go over and check it out, and look forward to hearing from you soon. Thanks. Bye.